This is my first playthrough. Yeah, I'm about 12 hours in. And this is my first playthrough. Thanks for sticking around even though it took me a second before I got into the game. I just wanted to make sure I'd finished my dinner first so that I'm, got some energy to chat and to play. Okay. Yeah, this is my first playthrough. So what I'm thinking today, you guys, I've been thinking about it, and I know I was undecided before, but I actually think that I am going to commit to internalizing advanced race theory. So I am going to spend a skill point to unlock that, and I'm going to internalize advanced race theory. I've made my thoughts on this, my political analysis of this element of the narrative, very clear in my first stream. So this is the final disclaimer. I mean, maybe not the final disclaimer, but this is today's disclaimer that I do not believe in any kind of race science. But I think this is kind of fun and silly and also kind of interesting, and I'm very curious about it, so I was like, fuck it, so we're gonna internalize it. So there we go, we're internalizing advanced race theory. You can always uninternalize? Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that you could uninternalize stuff. Well, that's funny, isn't it? I guess you can internalize things and you can uninternalize things in real life as well, which is part of what Game Assist is about, I guess, is uninternalizing propaganda and stuff. Hold on, let me go back to that menu. So if I went to, like, volumetric shit compressor, I could forget it. Ah, okay. I don't want to forget it though, because it seems to have like some pretty good bonuses for my endurance, so I also don't want to uninternalize Mazovian socioeconomics because I am a Marxist, or I guess a Mazovian. And I probably won't want to forget Lonesome Long Way Home either. So yeah, okay, yeah. I've committed to it. I purchased the extra skill slot. That's where we are. Me neither, but I did it so I could get past him. Yeah, we gotta get past Measurehead, and my physical stats are... We're just not gonna be able to beat Measurehead in physical combat, you know what I mean? So it's also partly the practical decision, but also the, like, chaotic, I wanna know what happens decision. Truthfully, I save Scummed to knock his lights out. Oh, that's funny. Evelyn just beat up Measurehead. Yeah, my physical stats are... I don't think my physical stats are good enough for that, and also... Again, I just think it's kind of, like, fun and silly. So I'm gonna internalize some advanced race theory. I think it's mostly my hesitation about internalizing advanced race theory is that Measurehead is, like, kind of racist to, like, non-black people of color. Which, there's a lot to unpack there, huh? But, I mean, I do really enjoy the way that Measurehead talks about white people being an inferior race, so it's complicated, you know? Our relationship is complicated. But I don't have an option to internalize critique of advanced race theory and challenge Measurehead in dialectical materialist discourse about race science. So instead, I will just internalize his ideology like a sheep, because that's where we're at. Okay, so we're at the end of day 1. It's about 9 p.m. Again, this is my first time playing, so I don't really know how to, like, close the day or anything in this game, but I'm sure that I will figure it out. In the meantime, I think I'm going to do a little bit of exploring. I think the last thing that I did was talk to this girl. So I'm gonna knock on this door now. Your stats are bad, but you got it on your second roll. Wow, nice. Measurehead is a baffling man. Yes. He's riddled with contradictions. I think he's a really interesting character.
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment building. It's locked. The door rattles against your knuckles, but there's no response.
Knock again.
The door rattles again, but this time you hear an elderly woman's voice calling out from inside.
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside.
Hold on, who am I talking to?
Doesn't matter who I am. Now go on, get out of here.
Okay, well, I guess we have to play the police card, which sucks, but it is what it is. This is the police. Open the door.
The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here.
You are awesome, cleaning lady. Never change. It's cold out here. But I'm not joking.
No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers getting into the building. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
She trails off, leaving the sentence unfinished.
Backyard door. There must be another entrance to the east.
Kim, tell her we're real policemen.
Madame, I assure you, we are real police officers.
The lieutenant repeats dutifully.
There is no reply. Just faint, sweeping sounds inside.
One of the biggest controversies of our time is whether it's pronounced lieutenant or lieutenant. Lieutenant is the English pronunciation, but everyone in this game has been pronouncing it lieutenant, so that's what we're saying, and also it kind of makes more sense to me. As like an international school kid and as someone who has lived in North America and in the UK, I have the privilege of picking and choosing how I pronounce things. I pronounce some things like an American, and I pronounce some things like an English person. And I've often felt that to be something like strange, and it's made me self-conscious in the past, but at this point I'm like owning it. It means like I can just choose how to pronounce stuff. I mean, technically anyone can choose how to pronounce stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it's all made up. Like, okay, let's leave. Anyway, I have a... Yeah. You've a bit of a transatlantic accent about you. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's... I guess some people call it like an international school accent because me having like an accent that's somewhere in the middle has never been related to my living in Canada, because I lived in Canada as a teenager, but I went to preschool in Saudi Arabia, like an American international school. So in some places in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, you have like American international schools and European or British international schools, and I think I went to an American one. I think me and my siblings went to an American one, and so I just like, and also like how my like parents speak English and stuff is, you know, they're not native English speakers, so I think I've just internalized this accent that nobody can ever place, and I always have to tell this long sordid backstory about why I sound funny, but I'm owning it at this point. It's actually pronounced GIF. See, I could choose either way. It's actually pronounced GIF or GIF. Which is it? Who knows? It's a mystery. I would actually be curious, does anyone know why the British pronounce it lieutenant? Because, like, the way that it's spelled, I would... The pause. Yeah, I was just trying to choose, because I didn't know which one you meant. So I was trying to make an assumption about which one you meant.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
And you know what they say about assuming? This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. Sure is. Oh, fuck it. Yeah, conceptualization check. Why am I looking at this wall?
You have no clue. It's just a wall.
Well, that's that then.
So many walls all over Martinez. Weather-worn, cracked, their paint peeling.
Yeah. Oh, okay, this is the other side of the garden where the hanged man is. So let's talk to Kunoette, or whatever her name is.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
How do you pronounce her name? I genuinely thought that it was... I remembered it being like Kuno, but with something on the end that like feminized it. Does anyone know how I'm supposed to say her name?
Pigs come to take me out, trying to snuff me out.
Are you sleeping right now?
Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever. Trying to sneak up on me again. Trying to snuff me out. Get away, pig.
Okay, alright. The fact that I'm just like grubby police officer picking up spare change off the street is crazy. A garden hose, this won't be of use until the snow melts. Right, okay. I wonder if time will pass and the snow will melt. I assume it's hinting that that's going to happen. People might have noticed that, so I enabled the dyslexia friendly font, and I think that there's been a glitch where, like, when I pick up an item or I, like, get a notification that I've passed or failed a skill check, that the text looks like some sort of like strange gibberish. I think that's a glitch that I've got when enabling the dyslexia friendly font, so apologies about that. Another splattering of bullet holes on this wall. Chairs and tables eaten by rain and rot. Can't do anything with that? Okay. Sure. A balcony with a view to the yard and the hanging. Can I talk to that guy up there?
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
He says in a quiet voice. Despite the cold, his shirt hangs unbuttoned on his frame. Why are you whispering? It sounds like you're already in trouble.
There's no trouble. I'm just speaking in a lowered voice.
He says, sotto voce.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie, if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Oh, sorry, buddy. I'm playing a cop. I gotta be a cop about it. Actually, the gendarmerie really needs to talk to you.
Is it really that important?
There has been a murder, buddy.
like a nervous cat. He keeps stealing looks at the neighboring windows.
Alright, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
Looks like you've got a good view of the Whirling's backyard. Can you tell me about... Okay, let me ask his name first, actually. I'm just nervous that I won't get to ask much, but I think it would be helpful to know his name.
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
Okay, that seems fake.
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that.
Looks like you've got a good view of the Whirling's backyard. Can you tell me anything about the hanging?
I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away?
We will remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us, where were you last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Did you? Look at Kim.
No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
The lieutenant takes out his little blue notebook and writes something down.
Last week? I don't know. Look.
He looks around the courtyard again. Old patio chairs and dead houseplants litter the scene.
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over.
What kind of friend?
It was my Sunday friend.
A Sunday friend. How intriguing.
What's your friend's real name? Did he see something?
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. Under the dull and darkening sky, the neighboring windows stand silent.
All right, we'll talk later, I guess.
No. We won't.
He takes one last drag of his cigarette before stubbing it out on the balcony.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Suggestion check. Convince him to stay.
This isn't the place or time for questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtains.
Hey, listen. Lower voice. I am just trying to make things okay again. Can we meet again somewhere else?
For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable. Something moves in the depths of his feline eyes, compassion and a hint of understanding.
I am sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for.
His voice is soft and deliberate. With a flick of his wrist, he sends the cigarette butt sailing over the rail.
But, hold on, what's that? For a split second, his hand lingers, as though gesturing towards a stone placed right next to the front door. It's a sign.
Good luck with the investigation.
He walks away. Little saunter, look at him go. What a cunty little walk.
He's gone.
We should run after him, see where he went.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself.
Dios mío, a homosexual. I know. That's a very homosexual walk, for sure. Hi, Bitter. Welcome. How are you doing? So we just give up?
He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type who's asking about our case.
Yes, and he gestured towards a stone by the door, right? So...
He did leave us a sign. Did you see that? He wanted to draw our attention to that stone right over there.
The lieutenant nods towards a small rock on a soggy patch of grass. Aw. Really good, just got back from a date. It sounds like your date went well. That's sweet. Glad to hear it.
If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment.
Great, let's do that.
A stone like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. Maybe there's something under it.
Turn it over.
There's a key beneath it, rusty from the dirt.
This must be for the front door. Pity it doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments, and the man can be in any of them.
How are we gonna find the right one?
We'll just have to go in and see.
Put the stone back. In we go. Eviction notices and missing pets are plastered on top of each other. God, that's depressing. This box is filled with cleaning chemicals. Smells of laundry detergent. An old shoe rack, boots, sneakers, and old slippers. I do love running around with my big yellow dish gloves. Someone has drawn a 5-pointed star on the wall.
That isn't just a 5-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers. The iconography of communism, in other words.
The iconography of communism? Since when is an inverted pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers the iconography of communism? Am I missing something? Did a communist symbol drop that I don't know anything about? Or is it like the in-game universe communist symbol? Back in my day, it just used to be a hammer and a sickle. Inspect the symbol closer.
The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Mezov and the communards during the revolution.
Right, okay, so it's in-game.
Even today, half a century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure.
Why star and antlers? Yeah, it looks like I can ask more about that. Why is the star upside down?
To symbolize the toppling of the old order.
Okay, Slay. They kind of ate with that.
Also, some social democrats were already using it.
Okay, I mean, don't compare me to sock dams, but what's the deal with the antlers?
The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world, and at the same time above it.
Okay, I've got some feelings about that. Exist in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it. I mean, so I feel that, you know, obviously we live in an age of climate catastrophe where we're experiencing rapid climate breakdown, and the reason that we're experiencing rapid climate breakdown is because of like the scale of environmental devastation caused over the last like few hundred years, and just exponentially increasing over those few hundred years as a result of colonialism and capitalism. So, you know, like mass resource extraction, industrialization, the development of an oil and gas economy, militarization, all of these things, which, you know, it's all about colonialism and capitalism, right? Because capitalism is about profit accumulation, and imperialism is about kind of controlling foreign territories, usually for the sake of profit accumulation. So the reason why kind of imperial powers are interested in kind of establishing some kind of control these days, more often than not neo-colonial control, sometimes settler colonial control of various places in the global south, is because of the desire to accumulate profit and to have monopolistic control, to obtain monopolistic control over natural resources, particularly oil and gas, because like, American empire in particular is like an oil dependent empire, and all of so these kind of structural factors have led to climate devastation, right? And a lot of the work that capitalism does ideologically is to legitimize that climate destruction by teaching us that humans are superior to nature and that humans are meant to dominate nature, which is often... Yeah, let me smidge up the music a tiny bit. Let me know how that is. Which is contrary to, like, thousands of years of human history, and I mean, obviously this is very, like, nuanced, but, like, you know, humans have lived on the earth for thousands of years, largely in harmony and in symbiosis with nature. None of that is to say that, you know, pre-capitalist society was some kind of, like, utopia where there was no systematic violence or no violence towards nature as well as human beings, but, like, the scale at which that exponentially increased with the emergence of capitalism as, like, a mode of organizing society is, like, undeniable, and that's where we are, why we are where we are, right? Like, a lot of it can be put down to the last 200 years of the Industrial Revolution and the development of an oil economy alone. So humans have for thousands of years largely lived in harmony with the environment, and various, like, indigenous teachings across the world are about learning how to understand and take care of nature, you know, plant life, animal life, etc. And it perpetuates this idea that humans and nature are separate when we are a part of nature, you know what I mean? Like, the well-being of nature and our well-being is, like, entwined, and no wonder that we're all suffering so much, and the earth is also suffering more greatly than it, like, ever has, or certainly has in the time that humans have walked upon the earth. You know, we're all connected, all life is connected. So the idea that humans are separate from nature, let alone that humans are superior to nature, is a capitalist ideology. It's a colonial ideology. And, you know, of course, like, the idea that you can dominate land is central to colonialism. So the reason why I'm saying all of this is that that's why I'm having complicated feelings about this phrasing. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it. Like, that, I'm sort of hesitant about that phrasing, but, like, I guess I'd be curious to understand more of what they mean by that, so we shall see. Why white?
Because white is the color of peace.
Okay. What does it evoke in me?
Gone. Gone is the glory of hope. Only the scribblings of impoverished students remain in dirty hallways.
Okay. My morale has been taking a hit, huh? Give it a slight morale boost. Apartment 12, a loud rumbling snore comes from within. Okay. Well, I can go in here. Do I need my flashlight? These shower curtains are covered in some sort of slime. Oh, lovely. Well, it's a very worthwhile trip to the bathroom. I do think that, like, a European communism that doesn't have an understanding of, like, the importance of indigenous teachings about symbiosis with nature is a flawed communism. Gotta get going, have fun with the rest of the stream. Well, thank you for popping by, Evelyn. I hope the night shift goes okay.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11.
Examine the padlock.
It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it. No reply.
Knocking on the door, no reply.
No reply.
We could use some chain cutters here to cut the shackle.
Why would we want to break into some random citizen's apartment?
I don't know, just seems like something we could do.
The lieutenant looks at you for a long moment, then blinks once.
I suppose if one were committed to it, there's a pair of chain cutters in the kitchen.
I remember. Don't worry, Kim. We'll go back to your car in a second. Should be chill. I'm training someone on night, so I have an extra pair of hands to help. Oh, that's good.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10. The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to the door. You can feel tension on the other side.
Knock again.
A poor communard from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
This time the steps come closer. Who is this? Demands a female voice, wary, intent. This is the police. Open up.
Do I have to open the door?
You hear the clacking of heels again as the other side walks right up to the door. Her tone is now getting a defensive edge.
Do you have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open the door if you don't.
Oh my god, yes, Queen! I'm always saying this, you guys. She's right. She does not have to open up if they don't have a warrant. Oh, icon.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
Yeah. Queen shit. Queen shit. Door number 9 is locked. Apartment 8, their mailbox is overflowing. A note reads, foreclosed by Martinez Realty Associates. Okay, I'll go down there in a second. Just exploring before I talk to that guy.
A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor.
Rub your sides for warmth.
A former architect stands before a slice of window, a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and frozen, with temperatures falling down to -20 degrees Celsius.
Her face
is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Traces of sadness are visible in her expression.
The plan.
Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects the room with the neighboring apartment. Ideas for arranging the furniture have been jotted down.
Look around yourself.
It's clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls. A standard HB graphite pencil has fallen off a three-legged stool in the middle of the room.
Shiver. Waves crashing in the darkness. Someone has torn down the wall. Indeed they have. An old grocery list on the table and checks. Well, I got healing items aplenty. The graffito says a firing squad for the rich. Yeah, correct. Oh, hey! That's the lady from before. An elderly woman is leaning on her broom, her knuckles white as bone. She seems to be having difficulty breathing.
The cold never does any good for my bronchitis.
She sneezes into her dirty handkerchief. Are you alright? Should I call a doctor?
I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me.
Oh, don't you worry about me. Okay, cleaning lady. She starts coughing, red spots appearing on her cheeks. I mean, I'm kind of worried.
You're still worried.
It's worrying, yeah.
Now, what do you want from me, policeman?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
Who are you?
I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these hallways.
Do you live here?
If you can call it living. I have a little room upstairs right next to the coal room.
She spits on the floor before wiping it off with a broom.
It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company. And that's all I need from this world.
And all she gets, too. The coastal wind beats down hard on the coal room door outside. Splashes of waves make the balcony slippery.
I'm looking for Martin Martinez, which is definitely his real name.
Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry.
She smiles a gap-toothed smile when she hears you mention the name, which is definitely his real name. No, you don't understand. I'm looking for a real person named Martin Martinez. He told me he's Martin Martinez.
Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martin Martinez is a name for anyone who comes from Martinez, like Jim Jamrock or Raoul Ravachor.
Duh.
Oops. You really didn't get the joke there.
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't have the witness's name.
How about a young male in his mid-20s, dark hair, skinny build, a smoker on the balcony? Know where he lives?
Yes, I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower.
What's he in trouble for?
No trouble, I just want to talk to him. Do you know where he lives?
Talk?
Oh, poor woman. The cleaning lady starts laughing, but it turns into a violent coughing spasm. She squeezes her broom, trying to catch her breath. Are you sure you don't want me to help you get medical attention, ma'am?
He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there. He's usually home in the evening.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
I have a few questions about those apartments.
Ask away, policeman.
Do you know who lived in the foreclosed apartment?
The hell am I supposed to know? Another nut job, I assume.
The cleaning lady shrugs, her mouth puckered like a dried fig. Why is there a hole in the wall in the abandoned apartment?
Some lunatic lost his mind. All kinds of morons pass through these halls.
With how small these rooms are, wouldn't you want to break the wall down?
Is one of the residents on a vacation? Their mailbox is overflowing.
People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone.
Who lives in apartment number 10?
No one lives there. It's been empty for months.
But I talked to someone through the door.
Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in there.
She pauses, eyeing the hallway. Okay, that's mysterious. Color me intrigued.
Maybe it's those countercultural people again.
Oh, squatting!
For a house like it's a public
Slay.
space. You're a policeman. Be good and take a look, will you?
Oh, God, once again, playing as a policeman is, getting me into quite some pickles, because I'm curious, but I don't want to get squatters in trouble. I am curious though, so I'm going to take it on. Sure, I'll see what I can find.
Great. Young people. They're worse than rats. You know, always littering the hallways with trinkets and empty beer cans.
Who lives behind the padlocked door?
Oh, that one is a scientist, a future scholar.
Suddenly the old lady's face is beaming.
I think he studies astrology at the community college. Education's good. I always tell them to study.
Cool. Astrology?
Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall.
You mean the star and antlers? I think that's the symbol of communism.
The symbol of what now?
Okay, we've got some options. Communism, you know, like in the World Revolution. You know, the ones who support the working class against capital. It's an ideology. It has some noble aims, but it's also been used to justify terrible bloodshed. It's for loons who have no idea how economy works. Okay, well, 3 and 4 are a no-go. It's a symbol for contributing to the demise of our noble state in the name of some made-up world of equality. It's so... Okay, it is bonkers that someone could... Like, even if we didn't have the, like, ancillary, like, proof that the developers of this game have, like, thanked Marx and Engels and, like, proclaimed themselves, like, communism or communism, anarchism, Marxism aligned. I don't know the specifics. Even if not for that, like in the text itself, it's so obvious that anytime you can express an opinion that's anti-communist, it's written in a way which is like satirical and like tongue-in-cheek, and it's clearly making fun of anti-communists. By kind of like showing that, you know, hating communism and kind of emphasizing that it's silly to hate communism if you truly understand what communism is, because it's about like everyone having access to their basic needs and like having that guaranteed, and everyone like being equal in society, like having equal access to their basic needs, like from each according to his ability to each according to his needs. That's literally it. Yeah, I do think, like, now that I've played a good amount of this game, it's very obvious to me that, like, pretty much all of the anti-communist lines are, like, poking fun. So... Yes, okay, so obviously there's a conversation to be had about how communism, or I should say, some people's interpretation of communism, or perhaps bad faith, kind of weaponization of communism even, has been used to justify terrible bloodshed. But it's kind of, I guess we were talking a bit about this maybe in the last stream or the first stream, I don't really remember. Like, I'm a communist 100%, like through and through, and I am perfectly happy to have critical discussions about like the USSR, for example. I don't particularly think it's productive when, you know, there are certain people on the left who will not engage in like critical discussion about like the policies of the USSR or certain other like socialist nations, and I've discussed before the fact that like it's more accurate to call a lot of these nations socialist rather than communist, because communism is about living in a stateless and classless society, which has not yet been achieved and cannot only be achieved in one country. So I think technically speaking, a lot of these states can only be described as socialist in terms of like the structure of their political economy, but you know, they might be run by a communist party, so that like communism might be the ideology and the ultimate aim of these people. I think in a previous stream, someone in chat described it as like building towards communism, which is a good way of putting it. You know, I think having critical discussions about socialist states and the good and the bad policies that they have is important. But equally, like, there's a time and a place for it. And there's a time and a place for it because amongst other people on the left, I think those are some important conversations to be having. For example, you know, we talked about the USSR's... I think there's a lot about the USSR's foreign policy in general that we can and should critique. And obviously the USSR went through different phases and had different leaders, so there's a lot to be learned from different phases in its history. But in the West, so I live in the UK, you know, for people who live in Western imperialist nations like the UK, European nations, North American nations, like, these are our governments invest and have invested for many decades a huge amount of money and energy and resources into anti-communist propaganda. And they do this for a reason, because communism and building towards communism is obviously a threat to their power, and it's a threat to a model of society where power is concentrated in the hands of a few and the many are exploited for these few to profit. And obviously communism is a threat to that. And they spend billions of dollars, they mobilize like secret service organizations, intelligence organizations, the police, the army, in the pursuit of suppressing communism. It would take forever to talk about like the various forms that this takes, particularly and most importantly in a lot of ways in terms of like foreign policy, like imperialist foreign policy of like, you know, installing Western-backed like autocrats in global South nations where democratically elected communist or left-wing leaders have been elected, you know. But on a domestic level, like a big part of our job is fighting anti-communist propaganda. And so I think that for people who are not on the left, our priority in a lot of ways needs to be in helping people to unlearn that propaganda. And there is a lot of propaganda that people have learned about the USSR. And there's a lot of propaganda that people have learned about the USSR, about North Korea, about Vietnam, about Cuba. And I think that being able to identify that propaganda and help people to unlearn that propaganda is super important. And it doesn't mean that you can't have like critical, nuanced conversations about those places, but considering like how pervasive that propaganda is and the kind of violence that it enables, it's time and place, right? There's a time and a place for like a critical conversation about the USSR, and there's a time and a place for like making sure that we're doing the work of helping people unlearn the propaganda that they've learned about the USSR. Like, for example, it's really important to help people learn about how in the USSR and other kind of socialist nations historically and today, home ownership and literacy rates have absolutely like soared. You know, we're talking about, particularly like in the early days of the USSR, we're talking about like exponential increases in literacy and housing. And in countries with socialist governments and communist governments today, like, once again, like, the rates of housing and literacy are often in the kind of 90%, 80 to 90% range, and have exponentially increased from pre-socialist government eras. And also, crucially, these rates of housing and literacy, and those are just two examples, you could look at other areas as well, like health outcomes, things like that, compared to the nations where we live, like, again, the UK, European nations, the United States, those far outweigh our housing and literacy rates, our health outcomes. You know, places like Cuba where healthcare is completely subsidized and like the Cuban government will pay for you to have a medical degree, like, right? Like, we do not have housing rates in the 80 to 90% range, right? We do not have literacy rates have been plummeting in the UK. I think I was reading about this the other day. And so the work of undoing that propaganda and talking about like a lot of the good aspects of places like the USSR on account of, you know, teaching people that communist policies are good, like socialist policies are good, I should say, is really, really important. And then, you know, again, time and place for more critical conversations. Like, okay, so even though domestic policy around like housing, education, and healthcare might have been really good, like, let's talk about the foreign policy and how the foreign policy wasn't great. Or let's talk about like the autocracy of Stalinism and how that's something that should be critiqued, or blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that was a lot of rambling, but it felt, I think it felt important to say that we've kind of talked about that like a little bit, or like alluded to some of this stuff in previous streams, but I felt it very important to kind of like make my position on things like that clear. So anyway, that's a big part of the reason why I wouldn't say something like number 3 to a stranger in particular. Oh, accidentally just took a morale boost medication. So the one that I'm probably going to choose is, you know, the ones who support the working class against capital, because that is what communism is. I think that's the only option that's like describing what the political ideology of communism is, so I'm going to choose that one.
Huh. I thought Revachol was the capital.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I probably shouldn't have used like Marxist jargon. That wasn't very communist of me, actually, to use jargon like that. Well, it was like cringy academia Marxist, not like down to earth grassroots organizer communist of me. What can you tell me about Cindy?
The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean them. Still,
She leans on her broom.
she leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can say for others.
Okay, that's all, thanks.
She mumbles some kind of a response, then hacks something into her handkerchief.
Okay, thanks, cleaning lady. I'm off. Oh, this is the exit? Okay. Well... Oh, there we go, yep, that's the other exit. So, let's get those woodcutters. Let's get those woodcutters from Kim's car. Oh, not down there. I wanted to go up here. There we go. Back around the bookshop and up these stairs, and there's the car.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Toolbox.
A metallic drawer slides out from under the seat and clicks into place. The handles are long and sleek. Snap, snap, go the cutters in your hand. The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. Preheater gauge casts a warm glow on the steering levers and the radio on its hook.
There we go, we got our bolt cutters, so let's do some cutting. no, it's not through here, is it? Nice. I'm finding the way that the map is designed like really intuitive for me, which I feel like I have a lot of issues with navigating in video games and I get lost really easily, but the way that this map is designed is like, I know I've spent like 13 hours in this game at this point, but I really like it.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11.
Okay, I forget that I have to put the tool in my hand. Ooh, I got another skill point. So I may... Okay, we're about halfway internalized on advanced race theory. Hold on, skill point. What do I want to put my skill point in? So I've got Shiver's physical instrument. I think that I might want to look at something in the motorics or the intellect department at this point. I think I'm tempted by perception. I'm also tempted by rhetoric, I think. Yeah, I think, okay, so I think my motorics are really quite low, so it might be good to invest something down here. Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe I'll go with perception. I don't know if you guys have realized this about me, but I'm so indecisive. I feel like when I have like a scarce amount of skill points to invest in any given video game, I'm like so hesitant about where I want to spend them. Okay, sorry, what I meant to do was put the bolt cutters in my hand.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11.
If it's hard to decide, you can choose one of the skills related to your white checks and get a higher success rate. Oh, I forgot that that is a thing that I can do. How do I check what my white checks are? Is this... Ugh, yeah, I was thinking about getting it in empathy, actually. Oh, it's too late now. Yeah, it is what it is. Thanks for the tip, though. I'll try and keep that in mind in the future. Thanks, Lolin. Okay, let's try this interfacing check.
What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's really not working.
I believe it's the shackle you mean to cut, Detective.
The lieutenant points to the corroded loop with a gloved finger.
He's just trying to help. Don't take it bad. Relax.
Don't you think that's what I'm trying to do?
Perhaps you should give it another go.
Kim pointed out the shackle. Okay, let's give this another go. Roll again.
What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of...
I believe it's the shackle you mean to cut.
He's just trying to help. Don't take it bad.
Perhaps you should give it another go.
Okay, well, that's it. I'll come back later. My morality is really on thin ice here. My morality? My morale. That's the one. How do I get upstairs? Oh, there we go. There's the door to the balcony. Oh hey, that's Cindy.
Ooh, the piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves, but here you are.
That's right, we've evolved.
Yeah, I can see that. Cool mutations.
She crosses her arms.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil.
Is that heavy fuel oil?
Red-dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise.
He says, studying the contents of Cindy's bucket.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock.
She really did it. She's proud of it too.
That's some clever cultural commentary.
You ain't seen nothing yet, piggy boo.
Cindy is kind of an icon. Okay, catch you later, Cindy. Okay, so we up here on the balcony. Came out the green door. Enough coal to last for several winters. Smells of chemicals. Someone's been sleeping here recently. Cindy? Ooh. New pair of pants. If there's one thing about me, you guys may or may not know this by now, I love an outfit change. Orange bum hat. -1 rhetoric, +1 reaction speed. An orange beanie with a couple of big ass holes in the side. It looks like it might have been used as a mask during an armed robbery. +1 logic, -1 authority. Flip up sunglasses, the auditor. Sorry. I want to read the description of my glasses. I should have done that first. These flip-up sunglasses were fashionable in the old, but have since lost their popularity. Their thin gold alloy wire frames are a reminder of drug-addled bohemian artists. These days, the glasses are only favoured by organised crime accountants who desire to look cool. Well, I think it's kind of fierce. Pour l'homme labour jeans. +1 electrochemistry, -1 reaction speed. What's mine at the moment? -1 savoir-faire, +1 electrochemistry. Okay. Okay. Although these jeans look worn, the wearer must have had an ass given to them by the Almighty Lord himself. That beautiful peach-shaped man-ass imprinted itself so deeply in the fabric you can't but wonder if wearing them would start moulding your own vague rear side into a more shapely form as well. I do wish I had found my other shoe by now. I kind of think I prefer my disco pants. But that's because it goes better with the overall outfit. I still haven't found my other shoe. I need my other shoe. Jeans would cancel out the reaction speed situation. This outfit is so disco, the beanie brings it all together. Why, thank you. Look at this. What a state of affairs. I do want to find my shoe. I don't know where to find my shoe yet.
Pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something soft, yet crinkly.
Take the item out.
Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in Sur Le Clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar, and not only to your fingers.
Okay, cool. Apricot chewing gum, I guess. Interact.
Crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads, Tutti Frutti. It smells faintly of apricots with a barely noticeable twinge of cinnamon.
Tasty.
You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. It's a spice derived from
Yeah, but
bark.
cinnamon and apricot is an iconic combination. Come on. I'll hang on to it just in case.
You neatly fold the wrapper into a square before you put it back into your pocket. Carefully, lovingly even.
Cool. I do kind of want to get that other jacket as well, but I couldn't figure out how to reach it. I'll go back to it later. Okay, so that's that door. Oh. Hello. Above, tarps flap in the wind, forgotten hammers and nail rust. The door is locked, you can't get in. Oh, okay. Well, that's that then. I guess that's all that's up here at the moment. But I know that there's an upstairs floor because the cleaning lady mentioned that the young man lived on the second floor, didn't she? The question is how I get to the second floor. I don't know what I'm missing. I just passed it. Oh, balcony. There we go. Thanks, Lalin. Okay. A maroon glow of light pollution rises from the east. The breaker box is full of cigarette butts and electric wires. You hear distant traffic. Night is falling on the city. Can't get in there. Someone's growing rosemary, thyme, and a cactus.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security. Number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the balcony lives.
Let's see if anyone's home. Knock on the door.
Knock.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening.
He looks around, taking in the cold spring air.
We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good?
Sounds good. Tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28. Good, let's go.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Don't worry. You'll get him. Remember, tomorrow. He's probably gone for today. Lonesome. Long way home.
Thought complete. Nice.
Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market. Past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake. The frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees. A small house no larger than a matchbox. 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people. Why did you come here? Why are you still here? And where's the dealer? You have to get back to work. That's all you have now.
Learning cap for perception raised to 5. Speed gives 1 psi. Okay, nice. Okay, I have a few other thoughts that I could internalize if I wanted. Jamais vu, derealization. Reverchol Special Administrative Region, Le Caillou, the Interlydian Ocean, Coalition Government, Interlydian Mission Command. Name after name, and none of them is familiar. They seem real, but something is wrong. You feel like a kid looking at stickers on the fridge. Trouvant, the Apricot Company, World Games 34. You can almost see your hand reaching out for them. Scratch at the corner, see if they peel loose. This feels like the most important of all the thoughts, the one you must truly complete. Interesting. Coach physical instrument. So you were minding your own business, trying to get some detective work done, when suddenly a voice emerged from within you and told you you're a wuss, a namby-pamby, a sissy, and a limp jellyfish. This voice has zero gender sensitivity and even less empathy for underwhelming athletic performance. Try to purposefully piss it off, see if it teaches you something. Pretend you don't know the difference between a double and a single support phase in the discipline of hammer throw. It hates that. Okay, I'm curious about Jamais Vu, but I could do without the others. I don't really mind. Damn, your brain is taking a long time to become racist. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just playing for the first time, so I don't necessarily know how this works, but end of the day debrief with Kim after 10 p.m. Okay, so I'll head to the Whirling in Rags once it goes past 10. This is the door to apartment 29. Complete silence. Whoever lives there isn't home. Oh. This is the door to apartment 30. Voices from within singing along to some buoyant dance track. Oh, they're having fun in there. Okay, doesn't look like there's much else that I can do up here for now. So, yeah. Let's head back down. Come back tomorrow. No. Trying to take the stairs. Come on. There we go. Oh, have I gone in here before? Oh, yeah, I think I tried to and it didn't work. Okay. Well, that's that, I guess. Let me go back to the Whirling in Rags and I'll pay the bartender and then I'll debrief with Kim. Wow, I do look really funny right now. I'm really enjoying this outfit. It's the jeans and the beanie and the big yellow gloves for me. It's really... I feel like I look like... Okay, hold on. If I took off the gloves for a second, I feel like I look like a game developer bro. This look, the jeans and the blazer and the fucking glasses and the beanie and necktie situation. It's... I mean, obviously I know the white game developer bro look would be like a t-shirt instead of the mesh tank top and the necktie situation, but this is really... It's really given that. But let me put my stupid yellow gloves back on. I like my silly yellow gloves. Oh, there's more people in here now. That's fun. Layla, my cat, has crawled up on the PC table to join. Unfortunately, you can't see her, but yep, she's crawled up on the PC table to figure out what's going on right now. We're playing Disco Elysium, Layla. Layla, can you sit somewhere where you're not in front of the screen? Because I need to see the screen. Okay.
Can I help you?
So about that money I owe.
Yes. Have you got it?
I have your money.
Well?
Okay, here's 100 real. Slam down, the bill's down on the counter. I hope you choke on it. Here it is. Sorry for the trouble. Here it is. Sorry for the trouble.
Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him.
I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
Ooh, I can't afford 20 real per night, guard.
I'll take a room here too.
He opens his wallet.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Is the trash container out back yours?
Mine? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you keep the container locked?
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why. And the neighbors too. They put their trash there and they don't pay for the garbage company.
I thought as much. And are you the only party with access to the trash container?
Well, yes. Us and the garbage disposal company.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in me.
I wonder what this feeling is.
Prod at him and find out.
Doesn't it seem callous to you, guarding even your leftovers from the poor?
Callous? What are you? Kras Mazov? Almost all establishments in Revachol keep their trash locked. The Whirling in Rags is not special in that regard.
Krasmazov, nom de guerre, was an economist and a historical
There it
materialist.
is.
He was a leading figure on the Grad side of the Centennial
There we go.
Revolution, where he headed the 9-day government. Mazov is considered the father of scientific communism, Mazovian thought, or Mazovianism.
So Krasmazov is Karl Marx, yeah, and I'm guessing like Grad definitely has to be like a Germany type place because Karl Marx, of course, was German. It's interesting that they have Karl Marx here as not just like an economist and historical materialist who obviously like did groundbreaking research and writing, but as a leader of like as a revolutionary leader. I don't know much about like Marx's life. Like I couldn't really tell you tons of biographical facts about Marx, so I don't really know how involved he was with kind of like himself in the organizing. I'd be curious to learn more about that, but it does position him in a slightly different way, or like this character that's based on him. Maybe I am Krasmazov.
What are we talking about? Was this not about the trash container?
No, wait, whisper and point to the back of your head. What if I am Krasmazov? No, Krasmazov would never be a cop. Let's return to that.
Was there something you wanted?
We need those keys.
What for? Mazov? Are you planning to nationalize my trash container?
Yes.
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Just bring them back once you're done, please.
Nice. By the way, I'm gonna sing karaoke here.
Absolutely out of the question.
Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad ballad, then we sing this place to shit.
Lol. I'll ask him about the other thing later. Let me... Yeah, go to the... Okay, let me talk to some other people, actually, before I go to bed. Just has to be after 10 p.m, right? Like, it doesn't have to be at any particular time. It's all about money, you know. Okay, buddy. Hi, lady. How have you been doing today?
Hello again, sweetie.
Are you doing okay? I am very sorry I crashed into you earlier. I don't know what got into me.
Oh, I'm perfectly all right. I'm more worried about you. What was that?
It was like my body had a will of its own. I was running, my torso turned, my hands made this lewd gesture. I'm sorry you had to witness it. The cafeteria manager is a bad man. A man without honor or compassion. Yeah, I'm gonna shit on that guy.
What do you mean?
He was tormenting me with outrageous demands for money.
He's just on edge because of the lynching. Don't judge him too harshly. Anyway, I'm glad you weren't injured.
I'm judging him more harshly about the trash can situation than that. Okay. Gotta go. Okay, there aren't actually a ton of people here I can talk to. Can I talk to this person? Standing here? No. I don't think I even walked into this room before. The dishes are drying, the smell of chemicals and pine trees. An aroma of spices, alcohol, and tomato hangs in the air. Photos of men in overalls toting guns and Union placards. Okay, I don't think I can get into that other room. So, where does this door lead?
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimpled lock. It's painted blue. You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for mystery.
Blue is for mystery. R.I.P. David Lynch. You would have loved Disco Elysium. Touch the door.
The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door is flush with its frame on every side.
Try to push on the door.
The door does not budge.
I wonder where this door leads.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads?
I am drawn to its cobalt blue.
It is quite pretty. I suppose we could look into it. As a side investigation.
Yes! You finally get it, Kim. The door and the main investigation will merge into a stereo investigation.
If you say so. Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
Okay. Well, let me actually go outside and try that trash can situation with the key. And then talk to Gart. And then go from there. Okay.
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling in rags.
Open the padlock with the key.
With a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. It should now be possible to simply raise the lid. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't.
Didn't I just have a premonition that there's something in there?
There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms on your brow. Your hand is still on the lid.
Okay, don't Pandora's box me, don't Mulholland Drive blue key me. I'm just gonna open the lid.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
Lovely. Look under the boxes of carton.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Baddie Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below. And turbo noodles. Nothing of note, however.
Pick at the rags.
Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers.
Ooh.
As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay.
Okay.
Drop them in here, officer.
The lieutenant produces a black plastic bag marked evidence from his pocket. Bag the trousers.
Guitar marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The loops appear stretched, but
He looks into the container.
the belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here.
Something slimy catches your eye.
Reach for it.
A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with
Ugh.
grease.
Bag the shirt.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario. Anything more?
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye. But other than that...
A thrown out towel, a mug, that's all.
Alright. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force.
He nods towards the red-haired boy behind him. You think someone from the whirling might have been involved, maybe?
Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked, and his establishment had the key. It's just a small loose thread.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to ask the kids who put them there.
The fuck's he on about? Kids? We're that Kuno. He thinks you're an infant or something.
Yeah, that's right, kid.
See?
The lieutenant nods, then looks back into the trash container.
Search the food waste.
It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels, mostly. Unidentified sludge, and the occasional chicken bone thrown in for good measure. But hey.
Imagine locking your bins so that people can't scavenge in them for food.
Nothing. It's nothing. Nothing more to see here. What's this?
What?
A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something.
Pick it out.
Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes, written in a man's handwriting.
Officer, is that your paperwork?
I don't know what this is.
It is. Look, the plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form in there.
A miserable looking slip of paper sticks to the board.
If you don't mind my asking, how could you have let your paperwork end up in the trash?
Wow, LOL. I think I didn't want to be a cop anymore. That's why I tried to flush my cop life down the toilet.
Well...
He doesn't know what to say.
His eyes express a rare condolence. Then he picks it up.
Lucky we found it. You should take stock of what remains, just to be sure some has not made it into the hands of the RCM's adversaries. Organized crime and the like. There might have been police secrets in your notes.
Okay, I'll do that.
It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Now, tell me what your eagle eyes see. Or are we finished?
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the Interact tab to read your paperwork.
Thanks, tutorial. The mug, I'm getting that mug too.
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron.
An antique?
Only in its social sensibility.
Oh dear, I don't want a racist mug. Why do I... Oh, fine. I guess all I can do is take the mug. The lieutenant briefly glances at the mug, then returns his sight to the trash. Oh, I didn't want to pick up a racist mug.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
Why can't I put the racist mug back?
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
The lieutenant sounds relieved. Leave.
Fuck does Kuno care?
No.
Kuno.
Okay, it looks like we can't talk to him about the thingamajig anyway. Oh, I can talk to Kim. What's up, Kim?
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
Yes, my hostel room calls.
We can pick up where we left off tomorrow morning.
Sounds good. Okay, so 10 o'clock is when the day ends. Let's just check in with Gart before going to bed.
Can I help you?
I've seen something here at the Whirling Gart, a thing I need to talk about.
What thing?
There's a mysterious blue steel door in the back of the kitchen.
Oh yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door.
Do you know what's behind it? Do you have...
No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just a frit warehouse, probably.
Wow, where's your sense of whimsy and wonder, Gart?
Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust. Junk and dust.
He runs his finger across the counter to check for dirt.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
I think you'd like to know what's back there.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias.
Oh, because you're such a big man. He's a middle manager. You're such a big man. More like fart. Yeah, exactly.
So, I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that.
I saw a sign that said the mess hall is reserved for the Union.
Yes, not the whole damn Union, thank God. Just the nastiest and loudest faction.
He tosses his head in disdain.
They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit. But they're good customers. They place big orders and always pay on time.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info.
He gives you a meaningful nod. How do we find them?
We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry, even men on strike.
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
It's after 4. The sign said reserved starting 4. Why isn't anyone in the mess hall?
Good question.
He turns to the cafeteria manager.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere. Or laying low after the, lynching.
Whatever he may feel about you, he can't miss the opportunity to throw you a look of what he assumes is shared understanding. Go with it.
Yes, I think I see.
Yeah. The Union guys think they're untouchable. They probably fucking killed that guy or something and now think they can hide out till it all blows over and it's fair weather again in Marchbank.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later.
There's something else I want to ask about.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later.
Thanks, reaction speed. Here's a trash container key.
Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for.
I found the victim's clothes.
How strange. I certainly didn't put them there.
Real convincing fart. Who else has keys to the trash container?
The trash collection service? CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threads that solves itself down the road.
On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alleyway. It stops by a rusted trash container. 2 men, their faces rough and swollen, jump out. They look at the container, despondently. CSM is written on their backs.
Thank you anyway.
Could someone on your staff have put them there?
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene.
Maybe you don't remember putting them there. Maybe you were sleepwalking or in a fugue state.
I think fugue states are more your forte, officer.
Okay, touche. Thanks. Let's talk about something else.
Yes.
Goodbye. Okay, well that's that. Let's head on up. Wait.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Hold on. How do I debrief the balcony? Did I just miss that opportunity? Or is this the balcony? Good night, Lieutenant.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides,
there we go.
We should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
I kind of want Kim's outfit, but also I think it's just because he kind of looks like Misato Katsuragi from Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I do really want to look like Misato Katsuragi from Neon Genesis Evangelion, so I think it's more that. But I would also wear this butch version.
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM?
Behold your other shoe! There it is! Oh my god. Could I have come out here this whole time? I didn't know you smoked, Kim.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
Okay, well, this is feeling a little bit homoerotic, you guys. I think I might want to pick up smoking. Do you have any more cigarettes? I don't know. I know it's one of the tasks on my list, but I don't know if I necessarily want to encourage getting him back into smoking when, like, addiction is a real problem for him. How did you get so cool, Kim?
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
He flicks the ash. Right then, the debrief.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day.
How do you think today went?
Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state, but we did it. Our inspection could have been more thorough, as it always can, but we have some leads we can follow up on. The body is still hanging from that tree, which is unfortunate, and there's still much to do at the crime scene.
He is not particularly satisfied with your progress, but he doesn't want you to feel completely discouraged. Probably out of fear that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
I mean, I'm tempted to apologize to Kim, but I don't know if I want to be that self-deprecating with, I'm sorry I couldn't do more today, I'm just not a very good cop, am I? I don't want to be, like, I don't want to self-deprecate. I think that, like, I also think that intentionally or not, when you apologize to someone and then you follow it up with a self-deprecating comment, it's not a very good apology. And again, this is intentionally or not, like, even if you do feel like shit about yourself, because, and this is one of many things I have learned over the years and worked on in therapy and stuff, lol, but, like, the reason why is that if you've done something to hurt someone else, then you apologizing for it and making amends for it is supposed to be about how they feel in that situation and on what you can do to make it up to them and how you can kind of mend the harm that was done. And if you say sorry and then you follow it up with a self-deprecating comment, intentionally or not, you're like recentering yourself and you put that person in a position where they probably feel like they have to kind of be like, no, you're great, like, don't say that, like, everything's fine, and like comfort you and console you. So intentionally or not, you just kind of like recenter your feelings of like feeling bad about yourself or feeling guilty or blah blah blah. And again, I do feel like we don't always do that with the intention of that, but it's not a very good apology because it takes it away from the person that you've hurt and what their feelings are in the situation and what their needs are in the situation, and it recenters yourself and your feelings and kind of gets them to kind of comfort or console you when you're supposed to be the one who's kind of like taking responsibility and trying to make amends to them. Don't worry, Kim, I'll be in much better shape tomorrow.
I look forward to that. As for the interviews, we weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We talked to Joyce Messier, but didn't get any information from her. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
I don't know why I do the things I do, Lieutenant Katsuragi.
Alright, but, and forgive me, this has been bothering me since this morning. How have you managed to run around all day wearing only one shoe?
I couldn't find my other shoe and I refuse to wear shoes that aren't as cool as the shoe I'm wearing.
Well, there seems to be a shoe that is a match to the one you're wearing further down the balcony. Perhaps you can collect it when we're done talking.
Yes, finally.
He's right. There it is, green and shiny under the glowing whirling window. The sky above is dark and the lights sparkle.
Imagine how much faster you could run wearing a cool patent leather shoe on each foot.
He smiles suddenly. So, what are our powers exactly, the RCM?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
1,000? Why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Revachol.
Okay, what else?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
How can you be sure the arrestee will show up?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
I see. And if someone resists?
We are permitted to use whatever force we deem necessary, even lethal.
Wait, so if I... Have you ever killed anyone, Kim?
Yes. The last time was 4 years ago.
He says it matter-of-factly and moves on.
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness.
That's if I kill someone while on duty.
Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
Have I killed anyone?
That's an improbability. Perhaps even impossibility.
I don't know if I really want to know.
Precinct 41 is known for a higher than average rate of police violence.
Oh, woof. What happens to the people we convict?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
He taps on his coat pocket where he keeps his notes. And who makes all these rules?
The coalition government and the moral intern, more broadly.
No problem, Lolin. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And best of luck with your surgery next week. Really excited for you. Like, hope it goes really well and the whole thing is like safe and smooth and you have a smooth recovery and all. Yeah, just congratulations and I hope it really goes well for you.
The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less.
The RCM was formed by the coalition government, so that feels very important. And, okay, so... The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. I think this is like, again, it's very telling about how the police are kind of created by the state to quote unquote restore order, and what restore order means is like suppress revolutions, suppress revolts, suppress uprisings. That's like what maintaining order and keeping the peace is like code for, as well as of course like the protection that the police do is the protection of corporations and capitalist governments. So the RCM serves the occupying power and it literally resists to kind of like maintain the status quo and quell revolutionary forces in the post kind of revolution era. So I feel that that feels like a lot clearer to me now, like laid out in this way. His gaze is absently fixed on a window below that just went dark.
Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Say nothing.
Silence. A great comment to such a conundrum.
The Moral Intern, what is it?
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
If I didn't know, how would you describe them?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt.
Eek.
Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
Center-left and center-right is so... There's so much to unpack there. I think... Oh, there's so much to unpack there. I'm thinking about, like, ostensibly, like, left-wing parties that kind of just... they aren't actually left-wing, they're kind of, like, neoliberal, but they, like, purport to be left-wing, or they're, like, seem more progressive than, like, the right of center, but, like, fundamentally they still uphold the neoliberal status quo. It's, like... You know, like the right wing of the Labour Party, people that might just, for people in the UK, might describe themselves as like centre left or soft left, some people use. Or like some Democrats in the United States context. Like, I always think it's really telling, like, that these days, I don't know if other people kind of feel the same, but I feel like there's an increasing amount of like people on the internet that describe themselves as being a leftist, which is like this vague kind of like non-specific term, and then actually they end up being like liberals and their ideology is like neoliberal ideology and they like believe in, you know, like the Democratic Party and maintaining the status quo, like, and it's like, we're not the same, bitch. Because this is like, I've kind of started to notice that, and that's part of why I don't really like, I don't think I ever necessarily used the term like leftist too much for myself. And it's like technically correct, like I am on the left. But like now it feels like very important in this kind of political climate where a lot of like liberals are able to kind of like pretend that they're more progressive than they are by calling themselves leftists, but actually they're, you know, at best quote unquote like center left. Like fundamentally they're aligned with the center, which is like neoliberal capitalism and maintaining the status quo. Like it's liberalism. And like I don't want to be associated with that, and I don't want to have anything to do with that, and so it feels like very specific as well, because a lot of people think it's really scary when someone is like just very explicit about being like a communist or an anarchist or a Marxist or whatever. And I keep using those three terms a lot because I do think they're in like the same ballpark. I think like obviously being a Marxist is, I don't know, it's much more of like a term that's about the kind of, I mean this is hotly debated, but it's kind of about your like way of analysis and kind of it's about like historical materialism or dialectics, which are kind of and kind of like analyzing the world and world politics through dialectics and historical materialist lens, which is like, I mean, dialectics didn't originate with Marx, it originated, or at least, I'm not sure if it originated, but at least was definitely like popularized, but I think it originated with Hegel, the German philosopher Hegel. So yeah, these are kind of jargony words potentially for people who aren't super familiar with like classical Marxism, but dialectics is just like this idea of like philosophical engagement, which is like contradiction, synthesis. So it's the idea that you kind of like work through opposing points of view and kind of reach some kind of conclusion or synthesis through like discussing and eking out the kind of like tensions and contradictions between those points of view. I'm not necessarily like an expert in philosophy, but that's certainly my understanding of it. And like historical materialism, which I think is probably in a lot of ways like the more important term, is basically the idea of like analyzing the world that we live in through the lens of like material realities and historical contexts. And this is kind of like opposed to approaching problems from like an abstract theoretical point of view or asking questions about the world that we live in from an abstract philosophical point of view, but instead of grounding it in like what are the material realities that people are living under and facing, and what is the historical context that has led to or created these material realities. Yeah, I feel like that's like the simplest or the most accessible way that I could kind of explain those terms. But anyway, and then like, you know, a communist or a anarchist is again the kind of like there's a lot of like nuances and, you know, subcategories and subterms and stuff, but yeah, I think that those kind of using those terms because I think they're kind of like in the same ballpark, and like I would identify myself as a communist, but I definitely like find myself allied with like, you know, other people who call themselves communists, but also often with like anarchists as well. And there's like a lot of overlap and a lot of like solidarity between communities of people who like describe themselves in that way. So I think that's, yeah, part of the reason why I'm using those kind of like terms together. But anyway, sorry, I was trying to remember the reason why I mentioned this. It's because of this whole like center left thing. And this is why I feel it very important to kind of like just explicitly describe myself as a communist these days. Not that, like, I was kind of already doing that, but this is definitely a thing. Okay, what do they believe in?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
Okay. Who was Dolores Day?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
What is their symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something almost self-explanatory.
Love, compassion, self-discipline.
Something ominous.
Hi, Layla. Okay, Layla's just jumped on the table again, my cat. Hi, you're in the way of the screen. Okay, good girl. I can see the screen now.
Something even a little feminine, but in a strict manner.
What do you think of them?
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
You like the moral intern?
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad, but the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough.
Oh, Kim. Stop. Don't believe in the RCM. Oh, no, you're so sexy. Don't believe in the RCM. I mean, I'm saying this from my character's perspective because toxic yaoi, not from my own perspective because I'm a lesbian. But you know what I mean. Don't believe in the RCM, Kim. You're too sexy. I have an opinion on the moral intern.
Do you?
The lieutenant arches his brow, then pulls on his cigarette. It's a slim white thing in his fingers. Things are bad out there. We need them here, giving us the right to police Revachol. Nope. They've done an awful job here. Have you seen the place? This isn't humanism. That's an interesting point because, like, I also think I find humanism to be a little abstract and a little bit annoying as an idea, but, like, if it's about, like, caring about human beings, then, like, what could be more humanist than communism? The idea that all human beings, like, deserve to have their basic needs met regardless of, like, anything. Like, that it's not conditional, that all human life is sacred and that all human life is deserving of, like, having its basic needs met and of being taken care of. And, you know, what could be more humanist than that, right? And that's what communism is. We are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting bourgeois rights. Yeah, true. Mutter silently, immigrants, liberal ooh, okay, racial slur. Fucking men are turning into women. We are the stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting bourgeois rights.
No, we are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting the people of Revachol. That's the hand we were dealt. Without the MI, we would be common vigilantes.
Vigilantes is okay with me. Maybe we should make our own law.
Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
Yeah, I also feel like this isn't the first time that the game has, you know, supported my point of view, which I think is, or should be, the communist point of view if we are to have a historical materialist understanding, right, of the police, which is that a revolutionary and a cop, you can't be a revolutionary and a cop. Those things are diametrically opposed. But I think I talked about this in one of the previous streams in more depth. He looks at the roundabout.
The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses, the red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west as Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Monday is over.
Say nothing, just look into the night.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
He pulls on the cigarette. Why are they like this?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. It's like I told you, this place is an orphan, fallen between the cracks.
And in Jamrock and the GRIH?
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land.
He looks at the dark silhouette of the equestrian monument cutting into the night sky.
It's incredibly hard. Human beings are. But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
I hope our investigation will help improve the situation here, at least do some good.
Me too, but I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
Thank you for this.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
He puts out the stub of his cigarette and looks to the door.
Advanced.
Hell yeah. We've done it.
Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind-bending phylogenetics appear more distant and, to be fair, a little ridiculous. The great race mystery has cleared up. All that's left to do is verbalize your thoughts. Go and talk to Measurehead about your newly found insights.
Wow, yeah, I gotta talk to Measurehead about race science, because now we've internalized reverse race science. Isn't that fun? A gust of briny wind washes over you. My shoe! Huzzah. Shoes, look at that. That's a pair of shoes.
There they both are. Two identical shoes, both copiously green and indiscriminately snakeskin, reunited on your feet, like two baby crocodiles.
Wait, these do not look like normal cop shoes.
It's pretty clear a normal cop is not what you are.
How do they fit?
Good, they're balanced, comfy. Feels like the only good thing about you right now, truth be told.
The smell of the sea makes you dizzy. Wow, I'm so happy that I'm reunited with both of my friggin' shoes. Okay. See you in the morning.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Fuck it, yeah, let's do an interfacing check. Use your chain cutters to fix the faucet. Stop the steam from fogging up the mirror.
The chain cutters slip out of your hands as you attempt to twist the faucet into place. Well, you know one thing for sure. You've probably never been a plumber.
Okay. Let the mirror be for now. Okay. So I could put skill points into encyclopedia in order to access that white check, but let me look at my other white checks. I think I'm also interested in empathy. But let me try encyclopedia. Oh, I have more skill points. Let me put another one in empathy. Cool. Okay. Let's try the encyclopedia check.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Dig deep into your mind to locate the source of the expression.
Like the rest of you, it comes from a bad place somewhere in the past. That's all you know for now.
Ugh, okay. Fair enough. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the tape. So can I put it in the player or no? Okay. I guess not.
The fan is spinning.
It's okay, fan.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful.
The option to go to sleep becomes available every night after 9 p.m.
Crawl in.
The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes.
That's day one.
And then sleep. And then sleep doesn't come.
Oh. Same, bro. Why?
Maybe it's the bed's fault.
Roll over to the other side.
It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it?
No more thoughts. Fall asleep now.
Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
Ooh, dream? Dream? Spooky, mysterious dream? Is the fog impenetrable? Yeah. I can't walk through the fog. So it's leading me towards the garden. Ooh. Oh, wow. Wow. That's me. Lynched with a disco ball. Fuck.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood?
I was born in a hospital where people usually go to die.
You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit. Tell me, do you remember your wife's hand on your face?
I left or I was left. I was left.
That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. Watching her go. Let it all be dragged away from you. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours?
I can get it all back.
No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me.
I picked that one because the 2 options are I can get it all back or I don't want to come back, and I just feel like I don't want to come back is like feels like it's implying like, you know, I want to die or I don't want to confront reality. And okay, I feel like I also wouldn't necessarily wanted to have said I can get it all back. I think my other, because you can't get it all back, but also you can keep living and you can find new things to love, new people to love, and new things to live for. So I guess that's what I would have wanted to say, but no option.
You failed, Elysium.
What is Elysium?
Everything. The pale and the useless. On the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. And you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up.
Well, nobody can fail 4.6 billion people. Well, not nobody. Okay, some people have done that. But no, like, normal average Joe, you know what I mean? Who's not part of the ruling class is fucking over billions of people. You know? Maybe a few people, maybe even double digits, but 4.6 billion. I do think you have to be the ruling class to be able to fail 4.6 billion people. So don't worry too much about it, Harry. I've talked to you before.
No, Harry. You were just talking to yourself. That's all you ever do. Even in your dreams. And the act is wearing thin. The spots of the disco ball fade around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time, sweating up the bed. Stinky boy.
Stinky boy. I can come back from this.
You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown. Who are you kidding?
My mind is tired and broken.
Your mind is what now? I can't hear you. The rest is just a word dream. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover.
God, there's another type?
Oh yes, party boy. And it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Oh, God. Yeah, fair enough, Harry. That's rough. Sorry, sometimes this game hits a bit heavy. That last line lives rent-free in my head. Which one? About the shit factory, or... Sorry, I can't remember exactly what the last line was.
Good going, buddy.
Oh my God, what the hell was that?
Oh, just a dream. You have ones like that all the time. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night.
God, I've been trying to, like, avoid alcohol and cigarettes as well. But I guess an existential hangover is also a thing. What the hell is going on with me?
You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think.
Why is this happening?
It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more.
Time to get to work in this shit factory is a Monday mood. Yeah. Time to get to work in the shit factory is really how it feels to be living in a society, by which I mean a capitalist society, obviously.
Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself.
No, I can take this. I'm not going to go looking for speed.
Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be honest, 2 weeks. maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired.
Nah, God, I really am kind of like taken aback a bit by like the game's narrative about addiction. I think so. People who've, you know, been on the channel for some time and have potentially heard me talk about this and other streams will know, but like I am in like I've been sober for like I think 2 to 3 years now. I'm trying to remember which year I went sober, but I think it might have been 2022. Because yeah, I just have had trouble with like addiction and with alcohol in particular, like alcoholism in particular. So sometimes stuff like, yeah, I find stuff like that a bit hard hitting sometimes. That like, I don't know, does like a really good job of exploring those themes or is really like impactful in that way. And I know I kind of like made the BoJack Horseman parallel with this character before. BoJack Horseman is a show that I really love, but I also think it's an interesting one because there's definitely like, you know, I watched that show and I empathize a lot with BoJack because of that, because like I understand what that's like to struggle with addiction and to feel as like shit about yourself as BoJack does, and to some extent to like when you're struggling with addiction to kind of like hurt people that you love and do and say things that you really regret. But like when I watch that show, at the same time, the fact that BoJack is a man and is very much like implied to be a white man, obviously there's like the anthropomorphism in that show that complicates things, but he's very much like coded as a white man and he's played by a white man, Will Arnett. And so it's also a very different experience because like the way that he causes harm and the way that he's like allowed to get away with that and not really be held accountable for the harm that he causes in the same way is like also a very different experience, because like I'm not like a rich white man, and I would say that like I have a lot of very like complex feelings watching that show because I really empathize with someone like BoJack, but then at the same time he's like very much like the harm that he does is like very gendered, like consistently it's to like women, and it's even predatory to like young women, and you know he like abuses his power as a man and as like a rich person in a lot of ways. And it's actually an interesting point, I guess, like as I'm talking about it, I'm realizing how much like media that I see that depicts alcoholism usually depicts alcoholism in like white men. And it's an interesting phenomenon because like yes, it's an issue, and yes, we need to have empathy and stuff, but equally we can't let white men off the hook for their behavior. They need to be held accountable for their behavior, like, and like, you know, that can entail and be related to kind of like getting help and support for addiction, but like accountability for the harm has to be part of the process, and I think it does in every case, but obviously we're talking about like people with a certain amount of power. And I do think there's like an underrepresentation sometimes of like, I mean, sometimes you see like white women in media like struggling with some form of addiction, but I don't feel like it's often like a focus the way it is with men. Certainly not like in the same volume. And I think I would struggle to think of like media where I see it explored in relation to like people of color, and I think that that's like a problem in a lot of ways, particularly like because of actually how prevalent that problem is within certain communities. Like, for example, when you're looking at like Hollywood and American media, that's like a prevalent problem within Indigenous American communities, and it's like a really important issue to be like looking at, and it's like a completely different context. Also, hi then born. Like the rich wife alcoholic. Yeah, right. And that's interesting as well, right? Because it's like a rich, like white woman, and I think in a lot of times our like image of alcoholism in the media is like rich white people, and sometimes it's even kind of like played for laughs and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's anyway, yes, this is all very interesting. I don't think I was really expecting it. I did go into this game not really knowing much about it, and I definitely wasn't expecting like some of the themes around like alcoholism and I guess like depression that it explores, and I am finding them like very compelling, but I'm very interested to find out more about this character and like who he was and what he did, because his wife left him and it seems like he's been struggling with alcoholism for a while. And then we've also been talking about like, you know, the police precinct that he works at is like famous for being particularly violent and like blah blah blah, and I'm very curious about all of that. Like I wonder how much we'll kind of learn about that. I was also thinking while playing that dream sequence, I wonder like if you choose a different dialogue option, like I think I chose I was left, so like his wife left him. If I'd chosen I left to imply that he was the one who left that relationship, would it have been one of those cases where the dialogue selection that you make kind of shapes the story, and the narrative voice also would have been like, oh yeah, you're right, like that's what happened? Or is in every scenario like, is it kind of fixed into the narrative that his wife left him and blah blah blah? Yeah, I'm curious about that. I think those kind of like more intimate interpersonal themes are really interesting, and I guess like in relation to the cop element of it all, like especially like obviously the way that I've been playing this character is like pushing back against the cop stuff a lot, but like there's a lot of this stuff going on where like the depression and the alcoholism seems related to the police work thing, and yeah, I'm finding a lot of that stuff like very compelling, and I'm very interested to see where they go with some of that as well. So we've kind of learned this character's name is Harry, and yeah, and we know he has an ex-wife and that his wife left him and that he like struggles with alcoholism, and it seems like he's questioning being a police officer or not. I'd definitely be curious to like see some of the other ways that this game can go in terms of like how you're playing it, and whether you lean into kind of, you know, acting like a cop, and where that kind of takes his personal development and his story, and also you know, I guess like an element of this that I wasn't necessarily expecting is that I'm kind of having to make decisions about whether or not I want to like listen to the voices in my head that are telling me to smoke a cigarette or like drink alcohol or do speed, and having to make the decisions whether or not to do that. I'm also like very curious about some of the different ways that the game could turn out in regards to like how you play this character. Super curious about that. Yeah, I think for me personally, I guess just because of like who I am and what I've experienced, I think I'd probably find it like a lot, maybe too difficult to do that myself, like to do a playthrough where I like role play being this like hardcore like anti-communist cop, or I role play like relapsing into addiction and stuff. But I would be very curious about how that could turn out for sure. Okay, sorry, that was a bit of a ramble. I think I'm kind of just like processing that a little bit. But let me finish this conversation. Okay, that's a lie. I can do this without the speed. Half the town won't be dead.
Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark.
Woof. Hi, Ash. How are you doing? It's nice to see you here. Yeah, I know a lot of these are obviously like questions that will unfold as the game goes on, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, I guess sharing my thoughts and reactions to it like at the moment. I remember, like, I guess one of the only major pieces of media on that like previous conversation that I can think about that explores addiction in relation to like a person of color rather than a white man or like a white person, rich white person, is Euphoria. But Euphoria is like, I've told people this before, like friends and stuff, I think, that there's something about Euphoria that like I watch and like it is written by a white man who experienced addiction, and I think like when you're watching it you can really tell, because it feels like Sam Levinson hasn't written the character of Rue very well to kind of like take into account like how race and gender would influence her experience of addiction. I think there's like one episode that kind of explores those themes where she's like talking to her sponsor who's also a black man, and they talk about like Malcolm X, and it's very interesting, that one episode. But like generally speaking, I always felt like the writing was like, this character feels like it is a self-insert for Sam Levinson and it doesn't take into account any of the complexities of that. Like I think one scene that really drove that home for me was like, I think in season 2, one of the scenes where she's just like on this ridiculous like police chase, and I just remember like that scene is so ridiculous, and I remember just thinking like, of course like some white guy would write a scene where like a black girl is like running through the streets and doing parkour and like running away from various cop cars and like is unharmed, like as if the way that the cops would treat that young black girl wouldn't be vastly different to anybody else, you know what I mean? So unfortunately Euphoria is not a very good example. But I think it's kind of like, even in this game, you could arguably say already that like thinking about like this character and the way that people treat him, like I think that some of the stuff about like the way that he behaves and the things that he's done that we have knowledge of or that we've like seen so far in the game, I'm just thinking again, it's like, would people have like the time and the space and the sympathy to like treat him the way they treat him if he wasn't like a white guy? And obviously there's also the element that like he is the police, so he's not like on the receiving end of the policing, as like a mentally distressed and like guy who is struggling with addiction. And there's a certain degree of privilege in that, right? Like, just thinking about, like, what are the different ways that people would react if they saw, like, a black man or someone, like, passed out in their hotel room and he hadn't, like, paid his bill for 5 nights and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, he would potentially be treated differently. Now, obviously, if he was still a cop, then maybe there would be, like, a bit more complexity there. Like, he would, you know, if they didn't know he was a cop, they might treat him one way, and if they knew he was a cop, they might treat him another way. But just those kinds of things, and those, like, complexities are, yeah, the kind of things that Euphoria doesn't take into account. And I think because we don't see more, like, diverse representations of, like, different people with different, like, class and racial experiences, like, struggling with addiction, we don't really, like, well, a lot of people don't often think about that, and it's definitely something that Euphoria is, like, very thoughtless about in that way, which I think is a shame, because in a lot of ways I do quite like Zendaya's performance in that show. It's just, it sucks, but there's a lot to unpack about the problems of that show. Hi Faye, yeah, we are talking about Euphoria. I was just talking, like, I guess I started this conversation because of this character of Harry and how he is portrayed in terms of, like, his experience with addiction and also his mental distress. And yeah, just, like, reflecting on some of those things a little bit at this kind of point in the game. I think I'll start wrapping up soon for the night, but and then tomorrow I can start, not tomorrow, sorry, but next time I stream, I mean, I can start day 2, but yeah. Yes, also heard my share of questionable things about the show. Yeah, for sure. Reminds me of watching Motherland, not so much in lens of addiction, but in season 2 they introduce a black woman who is very work hard, play hard, and she gets super drunk and drunkenly flashing people and yelling on the bus, and I was surprised by how she managed to get away with it so lightly, but I think that reflects the whiteness of the writer's room. Yeah, absolutely. That's such a, yeah, good example to bring into it, Ash, because it's kind of like, okay, like, maybe if a white man did all of that, then, like, nothing would happen, but, like, being realistic, like, if a black woman did those things, then, like, how would she be treated? Like, people would treat her a lot more harshly. They would be more likely to call the police. They would be more likely to, like, escalate that situation in a really violent way. And that's, like, one of the ways that racism operates in our society, right? So I guess just thinking about, like, a character like this and his being a cop and his being a white man and how that kind of means that, like, but I mean, we've seen it already, because we've seen how those characters are, like, you know, they want to say something about his behavior, like the employee who literally quit because of his behavior, and then she wants to say something about his behavior, but she's scared to do it because he's a cop. And, like, the bartender as well is also, like, changing his behavior because he's a cop, from, like, being angry at him for not paying his, like, bill to just being like, oh, I don't want to, like, anger this guy because he's a policeman. And again, it's just like, you know, if he was not a policeman, crucially, if he was, like, not a white man, like, if he was a person of color or something, then he would obviously be treated very, very differently.